Going to be an explosive show on tonight. Gather around Tyrone Bowman live. I will pull no punches on this evening. I'm letting you know from the very beginning, parents, take your children out of the room. All of you sanctified Christians, plug your ears because I will be a heathen in this episode of Tyrone Bowman tonight. So before I get started on reaming out J.D. Vance for his comments about Vice President Kamala Harris and the Democratic nominee for the President of the United States coming out of a very powerful and exciting, exhilarating convention. While the Republican convention was lackluster, it was a Klan convention. That's what it was. With the special guest being that MAGA, bigoted, racist Hulk Hogan, the former beloved icon of the WWE. Since you don't like black people, Hogan, we don't like you. You can't clean up your act now. We all know where you stand. A few days ago, you asked the all-white, bigoted, racist audience if they wanted you to body slam Kamala Harris, and you retorted by asking again if they wanted you to drop the big leg drop on her. I'll deal with you in a separate video, brother. He's been a phony from day one, and he's a phony now. I have no respect for Hulk Hogan. Said you don't like black people. We don't like you. Point blank. You can take your Great American beer and you can shove it, and you know how far you can shove it, and you know where you can shove it. So, having gotten the niceties out of the way, now let's get down to those of you who have subscribed to Tyrone Bowman Live. Thank you. And let me welcome all my haters who will be lighting me up in the comment section. I'm waiting for you to join in with me on tonight. I will give you something to hate about. Since you love to hate, let the hate flow. I got plenty of haterade juice, medium, small, and large. Take your pick. Your comments don't bother me. As a matter of fact, I relish in them. It's your thin-skinned candidate who can't take being insulted. All right, let's talk about J.D. Vance. The inept, inarticulate, more racist, more bigoted than Donald Trump himself. You know, you Republicans, you made a terrible mistake in choosing Vance as your candidate. It ain't working, and it's not going to work. J.D. Vance, while speaking at the Arlington Cemetery, wasn't it Donald Trump who said that he didn't like dead heroes? He didn't want to take pictures with anybody that was maimed. He insulted the late Senator John McCain for being captured as a war hero, a criminal, and he himself is now a convicted criminal. According to People magazine, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance said Vice President Kamala Harris can go to hell while attempting to defend former President Donald Trump after two of his campaign staffers got into an altercation with an Arlington National Cemetery official. So let's address that part first. It seems like you're going to hell, sir, along with your racist in chief. You're all the ones who love the Nazis, the Proud Boys, the white boys, and any other kind of boys, the white supremacists, the ones that you cater to, the ones that you desperately want their votes, and you have a lot of ill, uninformed black people who are supporting you, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're just going along for the ride because they think it's the thing they're supposed to do. And I just found a story today I'm going to talk about how Trump's people called a black man a slave. Yeah, I'm going to bring that article to the forefront as well. So since J.D. Vance is talking about Kamala Harris can go to hell, where do you think all those slave owners and their wives and their children are? In hell. Where do you think all the racist, bigoted people who were part of the KKK and who murdered millions of black people down to the centuries? They're in hell. Where do you think Trump's beloved Hitler is at, who murdered 6 million precious Jews, put them in ovens, destroyed them? He's in hell. He sure enough is not in heaven. How can a man who proclaims to say that God, he works for God and God sent him? No, sir. The Almighty, the everlasting, the divine, the sovereign one did not choose this man to be president of the United States of America. He chose himself. He thinks about no one but himself. And you know what the sad, pathetic thing is? People are loyally blinded to what is wrong. And the reason why they attack Kamala Harris is because you all know that you can't win. You're not going to win against her. And since Trump insists on having the white power salute, every time you turn around, he always has that fist up in the air, white power. Well, how about this one? This is called black power. You know, black is beautiful. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. All my black brothers around the nation, it's time to rise up with your black gloves on. Stand with Vice President Kamala Harris. Come out of the shadows. Stop hiding. Black power is voting power. Black power is economic power. Black power is boycotting power. Black power is education power. Black power is entrepreneurship power. Black power is independence power. Black power is voting power. We stand in solidarity with our sister. No matter what you say about her, no matter how many times you say it, no matter how many times you try to insult her and berate her and belittle her, we stand united as one. And those of you that are black and you jumped on the Trump team, when you get that wake-up call, and you will, when he really tells you what he thinks about you after he loses the election, and you will, don't bring your asses back over to us, because we don't want you. If you don't stand with us, you're against us. That's the bottom line. J.D. Vance doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. All he can do is spew obscenities out of his mouth. They can't articulate about the issues, and Trump can't stay on point to save his life. He's not going to stay on point. He's going to continue to deflect and deflect and deflect, because he incessantly runs his mouth about every little thing. But when somebody else retorts, when someone gets tired of his whimsical, incoherent, delusional speakings and sayings from a 78-year-old senile man. Remember, y'all called Biden old, you called him senile, you called him clumsy, you called him doty. Well, now Trump is the old man in the race. America does not need another old white man sitting in the White House as a dictator. So let's get down to the essence of this article on tonight. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance said Vice President Kamala Harris can go to hell while attempting to defend former President Donald Trump after two of his campaign staffers allegedly got into an altercation with an Arlington National Cemetery official. There ain't no alleged in it. They did, because they're ignorant. Trump, who was 78, was visiting the military cemetery on Monday, August 26th, to participate in a private wreath-laying ceremony that honored the third anniversary of a deadly attack on U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan. Of course, it had to be private, because he wouldn't want it to be public, because he wouldn't want his supporters to know that he visited the Arlington National Cemetery. National Public Radio, or NPR, reported that while they were there, Trump's team allegedly tried taking photos and video in a restricted area of the ceremony called Section 60, where, quote, service members killed in action in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom, close quote, are buried per the cemetery's website. NPR and the cemetery both said that when an official tried to prevent Trump's staff from staging a campaign promo in Section 60, the worker was shoved aside. I believe they did it, because everything is a photo op. And you know what? To the families of the brave soldiers, men and women, those of you who are still bereaved and you still are grieving for your loved ones who have fought in America's wars, who sacrificed their lives unselfishly from World War I to World War II and Vietnam and so many other wars. We respect you and we respect those who laid down our lives for us to have freedom in this nation. Whether it be they black or white, Hispanic, Latino, all of them are heroes. And it was a shame that during the Vietnam War, black and white soldiers couldn't live together in harmony, but they could go over to a foreign land and they could be brothers in comrade and die on the battlefield for freedom. These are the real heroes, not the those who dodge, the dodge drafters, who comfortably lay in their family's wealth and hide because they didn't want to fight for America. Too many individuals laid down their lives from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War and every war that America has had for America to be and remain an independent nation. These are the real heroes and heroines. Not somebody who dodged the draft. Not somebody who wants the military to do his bidding, but you wouldn't stand up even for your own country. 2 days after the incident in Arlington, a CBS News reporter asked Vance, who was 40, for a comment on his campaign cemetery scandal. The Republican vice president nominee, 40, instead responded by criticizing how now listen to the deflection. They got a nerve to wonder why, how come Kamala Harris hasn't done any interviews? It's none of your damn business why. How about that? She's too much of a lady. It's none of your damn business why she hasn't been out on the forefront doing interviews. She'll have interviews when she's ready. She'll sit down and talk when she's ready. When Trump was president, he ran the poll, the pool, the news pool, the correspondence pool, like it was a dictatorship. All these rules and regulations and things that were put in place, these people couldn't even speak freely. Insult upon insult was hurled upon decent, hard-working journalists trying to cover stories. Nobody is covered with flattery every time a story is written about them. Nobody gets positive press 24 hours a day, no matter who you are. Nobody. And so Vance asked this dumb, asinine question, criticizing how the Biden administration handled the 2021 withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan, directly referring to suicide bombing that killed 13 service members during the evacuation. How was that Biden's fault? Let's talk about COVID-19 and how Trump handled it during his administration. These people want nothing but flattery things said about this man. And he is not America's greatest president since Abraham Lincoln. The insidious comment that he has done more for black people than anybody, than any president, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln is forever enshrined in history, enshrined in memory, enshrined in glory. When the historians write about the Trump years, believe me, it's not going to be pretty at all. According to people, 3 years ago, 13 brave innocent Americans died, and they died because Kamala Harris refused to do her job, and there hasn't been a single investigation or a single firing. Vance said Kamala Harris is so asleep at the wheel that she won't even do an investigation into what happened, and she went to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. So that's why he told her she can go to hell? Really? What did Donald Trump do during the uprising that occurred during the Floyd murder? He praised the police. He wanted the mobs dispersed. He tried to stop protests that were happening around the country. While police were sabotaging protests, and police were disguised because they think nobody would recognize and know that they were police breaking out windows, setting fires with Molotov cocktails and gasoline bombs and blaming it on black people. He was safely hidden in the bunker in the bottom beneath the White House. What about the insurrection that occurred? Yeah, let's talk about that, J.D. Vance. The insurrection, remember that on January 6th? Because he was upset while people were being shot and killed. He was down there having a party, watching it on a wide screen, and refused to tell his people to back off. It was an insurrection. They were not patriots. They were hooligans. They were thugs. They were rioters. They were vicious law breakers. They were constitutional usurpians. That's who they were. And it was an inside job because many of the Republicans helped to plan it. See, people don't pay attention. They don't pay attention when Trump told the Proud Boys, stand down and stand by. This is not a game. This is real, what's happening in this nation. And I say to my brothers around the nation today, rise up and register and vote for Kamala Harris. There's enough black people and enough white people and women around this nation to usher her into the White House. Send a sounding message to modern day Nazism and bigotry and hate that it won't be tolerated in the halls of power. As CBS News notes, Biden's State Department and White House both investigated, listen, you lying ass J.D. Vance. Biden's State Department and White House both investigated the chaos that ensued during the withdrawal from Afghanistan, and each concluded that Trump's administration shares part of the blame. Biden inherited a mess from the Trump administration, and he tried his best to clean it up and restore dignity, integrity, and honesty back into the White House. People reached out to the vice president's office as well as Harris' Walsh campaign for comment about Vance's remark. To hell with Vance. Vance later defended his comments about Harris, who was 59 at an appearance in Wisconsin. Sometimes I get frustrated and pissed off, he said, adding that his opinion of the Harris campaign was trying to make a massive political issue out of the August 2016 incident at Arlington. Why not? You can get pissed off. We don't care. Get pissed off. You can't stand her anyway because she's black. Y'all don't like black people. Y'all loathe, despise, and you hate black people. Just like Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan hates black people. The MAGA Republicans hate black people because they want to go back to the Jim Crow era. They want to go back to the days of segregation. They want to go back to the days of slavery. This is where they want to take the nation back to. They want to go back to the days when black people couldn't have voiced their opinions and they were called boy and N-word and every other kind of word 24 hours a day. To hell with that part of the South. I don't even know why my people are still living in the South. Trump's spokesperson, listen to this lie, has denied that a physical altercation occurred at the cemetery, as NPR first reported, and accused the cemetery official of suffering from a mental health episode when they turned the campaign's private photographer away. Is that what they call it? It seems like he's having a mental health crisis. He's the one that's delusional and incoherent. He's the one that can't speak clearly. He's the one who's imbecilic and acts like a child every time you turn around. Throwing temper tantrum when he was president, he threw temper tantrum after temper tantrum after temper tantrum. I never saw so many defections from one administration in all my life on this earth as I did during the Trump years. And you know why they left? Because they knew what was coming on January 6th. That's why Bill Barr left, the former Attorney General. He knew what was coming. All his key people left because they knew what was coming and they did not want to be a part of it. The spokesperson said that the photographer got approval to be at the cemetery and should have been allowed to accompany Trump into Section 60. Both Arlington National Cemetery, but the Arlington National Cemetery told a different story in a public statement about the incident, saying that the campaign was advised of federal laws surrounding political campaign activity on the grounds. Federal law prohibits political campaign or election-related activities with Army, national, military cemeteries to include photographers, content creators, or any other persons attending for purposes or in direct support of a partisan political candidate's campaign, read the statement, which was shared with people on August 28th. Arlington National Cemetery reinforced and widely shared this law and its prohibitions with all participants. So they're not lying. Vance is the mitigated liar. Oh, I'll be so happy when the Walsh-Vance debate takes place, because he's going to grind him up and spit him out. And the reason why Trump is trying to put all these rules and things in place with the upcoming or so-called upcoming debate, which I don't believe is going to take place, I could be wrong, because he knows that Vice President Harris is ready for him. And she's more able, more intelligently prepared to eviscerate him the way he did Biden. On August 29th, a U.S. Army spokesperson released an update about the cemetery incident. Arlington National Cemetery routinely hosts public wreath-laying ceremonies at the tomb of the unknown soldier for individuals and groups who submit requests in advance. ANC conducts nearly 3,000 such public ceremonies a year without incident. Wherever this man goes is nothing but chaos and turmoil. Their statement began. Participants in the August 26th ceremony and the subsequent Section 60 visit were made aware of federal laws, Army regulations, and duty policies which clearly prohibit political activities on cemetery grounds. The Army spokesperson then offered more detail on the alleged incident, saying that a cemetery employee enforcing the rules was abruptly pushed aside. They did it. Ain't no alleged in it. They did it. This incident was unfortunate, and it is also unfortunate that the ANC employee and her professionalism has been unfairly attacked. ANC is a national shrine to the honored dead of the armed forces, and its dedicated staff will continue to ensure public ceremonies are conducted with the dignity and respect the nation's fall deserve, the Army's statement concluded. The spokesperson said that the ordeal was reported to the Joint Base Police Department, but the cemetery official declined to press charges. I would have pressed charges and then made them pay me and settle it handsomely out of court. This is how you got to deal with thugs and bullies and hoodlums, wannabe mobster leaders, masquerading as a politician. And this is the sad state that's pathetic in this country. Individuals who think they have a white privilege right to try to rule over any and everybody, not only here in America, but around the world. Black people in America, we are not passive and submissive the way they are in Africa and other countries. We're not going to speak soft. We're not going to tiptoe. We're not asking for permission. We're not going to be polite. If you disrespect us, we disrespect you. We're not turning the other cheek. We're not doing it. Turning the other cheek is done. We're not our mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers' generations. That time is over. They bowed, they scraped, they turned the other cheek, they prayed, they were still called ends. They were raped, humiliated, taken advantage of. Dogs, water hoses, churches bombed with little girls in them. You have to be a hate-filled, deranged, racist, and bigot, and then Still, you won't admit the wrong that you did when you bombed the church down in Birmingham, Alabama, and the 4 precious girls were killed. The man finally died. He's in hell. The white woman, the Bryant woman, who was responsible for the death of Emmett Till, and then lied about it for the rest of her life. Her and her husband eventually got divorced because she probably couldn't stand the sight of him anymore, knowing that they killed a young man for no reason at all. So since they want to have the white power salute 24 hours a day, this is called black power. Stand united. Stand firm. Stand as one. Vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. Never surrender. Never quit.